On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. The corruption is raining down, and the people that are screaming loudest are the ones that are most guilty. It's being shown. It's being shown all over the place. Obviously, U.S. aid, but a whole bunch of other stuff we're finding out is tied into all this. There's some pretty damning information coming out about where some of this money is going, and we're seeing a lot of panic happen in D.C. with judges trying to stop this stuff. We've got so many things to talk about. Trump continuing to move's not even a fair word, running forward with the agenda. And any steps that aren't happening yet will soon. We do have Kash Patel updates information. They've managed to postpone that a little, but we've got some news around that, so we'll get there. Now, I want to start with the story. We got a 4-alarm fire that was happening in New York last night. Not sure if they've got it put out at this point. I didn't see any other news on it, but this is pretty significant. Check it out. Prayers going out to anybody that was affected by this.
Pig in it. Oh my God. I heard on the fire truck. I said, oh, they not right here. Okay.
Oh my Lord.
But they're coming from all the way over there to over here.
Yeah, oh my Jesus, look at this. Oh my goodness.
Look at that.
Oh, this is horrible.
People in the house gotta get out. It's cold.
This is on 139th and Lennox and 7th. The fire is spreading something really bad. Oh my goodness.
That place might actually burn down.
Oh, I hope everybody's okay.
For real. I hope they're okay.
Oh my Jesus.
But think about the people on the top floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty horrible situation. So prayers out to everybody involved in that mess, and hopefully everybody's okay. We've got, what do we got here? So many stories. Oh, this was just too damn funny not to bring up. And this is essentially what's happened with the deep state, the Democrats specifically, but some Republicans wanting their U.S. aid so bad.
No. No.
That is one heck of a cry. I don't know if I've ever heard a kid cry like that before. It's got kind of a sort of a ring to it that sounds familiar, but whatever. I don't want to go treading off into those waters. Elizabeth Warren whining to MSNBC's Joy Reid that the co-president Elon Musk is taking a wrecking ball to the government that works for all of us. That's what she's basically saying. Look, whoa. We're all getting money from this machine. Musk, you're getting money from your contracts. We're getting money from USAID. What you doing? Why are you messing with this? Oh, they're pissed. They're extraordinarily pissed, in fact. Here's a bunch of the Democrats. They made a sign, fire Elon Musk, which is kind of funny if you think about it because he's volunteering.
Good morning. Y'all able to hear me okay? All right. I'm Greg Gassar. I'm proud to be chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, and today we're here to say with one voice, fire Elon Musk.
All right, well, that's enough of your voice, Progressive Caucus. But yes, they're obviously very upset. Politico, though, they've been called out. We talked about this yesterday. They're denying that it's a beneficiary of government programs as questions swirl over receiving taxpayer funds. So Politico, the news organization that is always so honest, they said, no, this is not true. Politico receiving taxpayer money is all just a right-wing conspiracy theory, right? So CNN said the same thing. White House says it will cancel $8 million in Politico subscriptions after a false right-wing conspiracy theory spreads. Trump amplifies conspiracy theory over payments to Politico. Now, Trump is boosting a bogus MAGA conspiracy theory about USAID funding for Politico. Well, it's funny. When you go to usaspending.gov, which I actually spent a little time there today, way too much time for the little bit of gold I got, but I got a little nugget of gold that I think you might be happy, and I haven't seen anyone else come up with it. So far, this is a Dan exclusive. It'll be coming up in these tabs over here. But usaspending.gov, that's the site. You can go, you put in agency just to make it easy for you, because I had to figure a lot of this out. USAID, it'll give you it'll eventually show you that answer. And then location, recipient was one I was having fun with. All said, they dug into this and they were able to find subscription, and I think they found the one that actually directly did relate to the Politico. You have to click on them, and I was trying to find it, and it was, well, let's just say there's a lot of records, and this site's getting hit really hard, and I also think this site's being throttled right now. Probably not by Trump's people, but by some of the deep state, I'm sure. They're still all over the place. But they are they know people like us are looking, and they are not happy about it. And that was also one of the things I figured out when I started searching. So people are and have seen that, yeah, in fact, Politico did get money from subscriptions, right? And it literally showed that NASA was the one that was spending $500,000 on Politico subscriptions. So money was definitely flowing to them from the government. So questions are swirling over about $9 million of the Department of Defense funding for Reuters' active social engineering program that was happening. See, people are digging into the data. This was interesting. BBC, because again, we're not funding any of this stuff, right? Well, here's BBC admitting media action. Our statements on USAID funding. Statement: a free press is essential to freedom and democracy, and 75% of countries around the world do not have a free press. BBC Media Action supports local media around the world to deliver trusted information to people most in need. Like many international development organizations, BBC Media Action has been affected by the temporary pause in U.S. government funding, which amounts to about 8% of our income in 2023-2024. We're giving money to all these stupid organizations, what, doing news in other countries? Really? Especially news that's likely anti-American, because it seems that's how a lot of this stuff happens. So before it was shuttered, USAID routed funds to Soros-aligned causes, terrorists, and drag queens. Literally, before they closed the door, the agency has been obviously under scrutiny. Trump administration obviously identified a bunch of issues. Let's see. The development agency for years also funneled money to several nonprofit groups that also received substantial backing from components of George Soros' empire. Some previously came under scrutiny during the Obama administration for democracy promotion and judicial reform efforts in European countries that critics claimed promoted leftist politics. For example, U.S. government spending records show that the East-West Management Institute, which is part backed by Soros Open Society Foundation, they received more than $260 million over the years in grants from USAID. So this is supposedly to help, promote the rule of law in Georgia and strengthen civil society in Uganda and advance Serbia's accession talks with the European Union. We spent $260 million. This is just one example. And when I was scrolling through all the USAID stuff, first off, it starts off with like some huge billion-dollar projects, like just right off the bat, you see giant sums. And then you're just going, story after, or line after line after line, that's like more than $500 million. It took me, I had to get to I think I got to the fourth page of 100 each page, and I was still seeing stuff that was 500 million, which, before was even bigger. 4 pages, 400 records, all getting more than 500 million. In some cases, billions and billions. Huge amounts of money going on. Here's Rep. Nancy Mace dishing it out. She's doing an awesome job here. I love this chick. She's fire.
USAID. They're screaming about Elon Musk over there, but hey, George Soros and his boy are okay. They scream that we're all a threat to democracy when they've been systematically dismantling democracy before our eyes. They've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and there's no going back. So I would tell my colleagues across the other side of the aisle, take your salty tears and sit right back down.
And cry me a river. I'm surprised she didn't say that, because that almost seems like it would have been appropriate, though that could have been construed as attack. Donald Trump truth this out. Looks like billions of dollars have been stolen, with the two L's again, at USAID and other agencies, much of it going to the fake news media as a payoff for creating good stories about the Democrats. The left-wing rag known as Politico seems to have received $8 million. Did the New York Times receive money? Who else did? This could be the biggest scandal of them all, perhaps the biggest in the history. The Democrats can't hide from this one. Too big, too dirty. And what's funny is they're already saying it's conspiracy theory. They're already saying Trump's wrong, and he's promoting it. but it's going to prove to be true. And who's going to have egg on their face? Who's going to end up being right yet again? And who's pissed off at us for exposing the waste? Yeah, the robots, the sheeple. That's it. Only the sheeple. Most anybody right now that's even a Democrat and is literally sort of even kind of awake is like, this sucks. This is not okay. This is not okay. And it's not okay. Not even a little. Here's Trump talking about how, basically we caught them all.
No, they gave money to all this out of U.S. aid, right? U.S. AID. It came out hundreds of just tremendous amounts of money, had nothing to do with anything. This is a terrible thing that was experienced, but we're catching them left and right. We're catching them. We're catching them to a point where they don't know what the heck is going on. They can't believe they're getting caught. And I have great respect for the people that are doing it. Elon Musk is helping us on it. And he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's pretty good at it. But the numbers are astounding. They're astounding. Even Doug was shaken up by what he heard. Do you believe that, Doug, what you've been reading? It's just very dishonest stuff.
Yeah, it's extraordinarily dishonest. And we're finding out about it. They're obviously screaming. They're going to continue to scream. Tom Cotton posted this, pretty dang funny. Senate Democrats didn't have a single press conference on the border crisis or inflation. They couldn't care less. But ending U.S. taxpayer funding for trans poetry competitions in New Zealand, Democrat senators are ready to burn it all down. And he's right. 100% right. Now, here is where I was talking about usaspending.gov. It's a .gov site, right? So I had some fun with some searches, playing around with it a little bit, right? And the date thing might have been a smart idea, but whatever. So agency, like I said, U.S. for International Development, or Agency for International Development, just type USAID in there, and it'll eventually, with the pop-down, it'll find it. Now, recipient, I did a few searches. One, it just does wildcard searches on every single word you put in there. And so that made it really difficult for me. I literally, and I think I've got the next page where I was trying to find somebody else. I looked for two different things, but this actually came fruition. But I had to scroll through like 500 names to finally find these two. But I found the parent and the child, which is a relation, company relation type thing, DUNS numbers and all that stuff. But I did a search for Clinton Foundation and found Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation is the parent. It's got a DUNS number in here. I assume this is public record, so it's DUNS 105-484-724. And then we've got the child, Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation. That DUNS number is 105-484-724 as well. This was just one search of USAID spending. They were the recipient, Clinton Foundation. The founding agency was USAID. It's their own site. This is where I found this. This is the government site. Now, again, here's where I was trying to find Nancy Paul Pelosi. I literally put every kind of variant I could put between the letters to see if I could somehow. I did quotes. I did double quotes. I did dollar signs. I did the ampersand. I did plus. I did, what else? I did colon, I did semicolon, I didn't try slash, I did comma. I tried so many damn different things. I did stars finally at the end. I'm like, nothing helps. But anyway, it pulls anything up as Nancy or Paul or Pelosi. So it was tricky. You got to almost know what you're looking for sometimes to even have a chance of finding it. But this was an example, and I was, what was the other one I was looking up prior to that? I don't remember. I think it was Nancy Pelosi just the whole time. Anyway, like I said, I was having fun with it. I kind of ran out of time, and you got to scroll through a lot of records sometimes to find anything. And then it's like, we're only going to show you 500 when you get to the bottom. And it's like, well, frick. And I don't know how to make that higher. So anyway, maybe there's an export function. I haven't looked at that yet. All said, might be something you guys want to play with. It's up to you. But I definitely found some very cool stuff in there, and I think we'll continue to look. Democrat Hawaii Senator Schatz. What did I do in my pants last night? I shats my pants. No, I didn't actually, but it seems like the past tense, right? I know you shat, I think would be the proper past tense, right? Schatz just feels like anyway, it's like a bad night of drinking beers. And then we're holding the floor all night to oppose the nomination of Project 2025 author Russ Voigt. Voigt. I looked it up too. Can't remember it. I know it's not Vought. I know it's not what I thought it was. I think it's Voigt. Whatever. Russ Voigt. He is one of the Project 2025 people. I kind of sort of doubted this a little bit. And I was like, what? That kind of sucks because Trump really distanced himself from that, which he needed to. I get it. So we've got Adam Schiff. They were holding the Senate floor. They're doing a filibuster action. They're headed there to speak because they were trying to stop them from getting this Russ Voigt guy across the finish line. Now, I ended up going to Project 2025, right? And I'm like, all right, how much? They said Russ Voigt's the author of Project 2025. That's what they said. So I'm like, the author of Project 2025, holy crap. Damn. Him and a few other guys? Or how does that actually work out? So I went to Project 2025, and I ended up I think, going to policy. I tried all these tabs. This was the last one I tried, by the way. It's always where you last look. And there it was. But this book talks about yada, yada, and I didn't even read any of this crap. But down here is where it talks about the different sections, chapters, if you will. And then it shows who wrote them. And I was like, oh, shit. No way. So we got Rick Dearborn, right? And then Russ Voigt. Okay, man, second one, too. Boom, right off the bat. Talking about the executive office the President of the United States. This is one reason why, I think Trump has Russ coming in because some of his ideas are pretty spectacular. We'll get there. Not bad. I didn't read the whole entire thing, but it sounds like his knowledge of what the executive can do, the executive branch, and what it's actually in charge of. And this dude, I think, seems to know the Constitution really, really well. Needless to say, number 2, Russ Voigt. And you're like, oh, he's probably going to show up all over the place, right? So 3, I don't see him. 4, Chris Miller. What do we got? Who else that matters? But again, I haven't seen anybody repeat yet. Still haven't. Nope. Not even yet. Still not. Oh, Ben Carson. He had a chapter in there, right? Just trying to find the names that we actually are in the today's group. Who else we got? Anybody? And again, haven't repeated names at all. Maybe Karen Kerrigan. That one sounds familiar, but I don't want to go looking for it. Maybe. She might be twice. Brandon Carr. There's a name twice. Okay, that's cool. There's a couple. But no Voigt. Only one time. And his whole section, Executive Office of the President of the United States, first paragraph, and that usually is what what he's trying to surmise. There you go. I don't know how to say that the way I was trying to say it. In its opening words, Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution makes it abundantly clear that the executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. That enormous power is not vested in departments or agencies, in staff or administrative bodies, in non-governmental organizations, or other equities and interests close to the government. The president must set and enforce a plan for the executive branch. Sadly, however, a president today assumes office to find a sprawling federal bureaucracy that is all too often is carrying out its own policy plans and preferences, or worse yet, the policy plans and preferences of a radical, supposedly woke faction of the country. They don't want Russ Voigt in because Russ Voigt understands what the president's power actually is and would be coming into a position that would help Trump fix things. Now, folks, here's the thing. Okay. Deep state is not going to go quietly in the night. Everybody has this whole idea that, Trump's in, he's going to fix everything. The deep state will slash and burn. You know that. They will do as much damage as they possibly can on the way out the door. We are literally starving them right now. Now, there's a lot of possibilities of how they could possibly, that's a lot of possibles, but they could potentially maybe steal funds from us. That's one thing that's always been said. I feel like that should have happened already, but I don't know. We're getting into that weird time. But the stock market and the bond market, like a lot of people are like, no, the good guys have this safe. I don't know why you would think that yet. Trump is just trying to get in and take control of things, and he's already being sued all over the place. So to assume that we've got more control or that the military's got this, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Here's what I'm thinking, and this is what goes on inside my head. Be prepared for the inevitable. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, certainly. And a lot of people, we have a 401k or an IRA. We've been putting a lot of eggs into that basket. In fact, all of them. And if something happened to that overnight, if 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever, happened overnight, if some of those companies go dark because they're literally too dirty to fix or are fake, or, I mean, again, you don't trade stuff on the stock market unless it's attached to other stuff, but how much of these things were getting funding from USAID? How many of these companies' banking sheets, if you will, are going to change now because their funding has stopped? How many things are tied together to this deep state? How much money are they pulling from places that they shouldn't be doing it anymore? Precious metals is doing amazingly well right now because there's chaos. And every time there's chaos, precious metals spike. Every time there's been financial chaos, at least, precious metals have spiked. Now, we're in a very unique situation in this world, it seems like, and gold has been spiking ever since they took us off the standard and ever since they then raised the price, so you see it spike once. And then it kind of cruises out until, I want to say, it was close to the 70s, till the whole gas thing happened, and then it really just started to go. And here we are today. Big time, gold is spiking. Gold has gone up just in the 4 years. I bought a bunch of it back when I first started this show. Not a bunch, but I've got like one here, right? There's 1 ounce. That's worth, right now, over $2,800. I paid $1,700 for it. I want to say with everything, I probably paid like 18 something. Whatever. It's worth $1,000 more than when I bought it 4 years ago. $1,000 more. Right now. This is worth $1,000 more. Joe Biden deflated our dollar so badly in 4 years. This is worth $1,000 more. Now, one thing they're offering is up to 10% free silver. Silver is really good right now. I think I bought this at, what was it? I was probably paid close to, what did I pay? 20? Nah, it was like 20 something. I paid 20 something for this, I think. And it's like $32 right now. Like, it's up $10. It's up a third. Just this coin. It's up $10. It's worth $10 more than it was when I bought it. Not that long ago. It's still spiking. We've still got crazy going on. There's a 401k, there is a precious metals IRA that Goldco can help you get into. Goldco's awesome. I love these guys. Again, they don't believe all the crazy stuff I talk about, but they are able to help you transfer out of that deep state system, or that, not all of it, even two for that matter. You're diversifying. That's an important thing to keep in mind. But it's going to help you get a chunk of that nest egg out before anything could happen to it and put it into a very safe place that's actually performing surprisingly good. You're not necessarily doing this to get rich. You're doing this to protect yourself from what could potentially happen. Again, Goldco handles the legalities of moving the money and all that. They don't believe any of the crazy crap that comes out of my mouth, and so please don't think they do. Don't be asking them questions. Do you think the end of the world's coming? Like, no, that's not their thing. They're legally here to help you do this process. They're extraordinarily efficient at it. Their customer service is bar none. They can do a lot of the DocuSign and stuff like that. Like, you literally can handle a lot of this stuff pretty quickly. It's up to you. But diversifying from that nest egg that is on teetery grounds to something that's very precious, very stable, and heading upwards at the moment because of all the uncertainty, the bad dollar, and you know what's going on. A lot of people are collecting gold and silver. Countries are doing it. Don't want to be one of the last people to get on board before it's too late. You want to get in there before it isn't too late, right? You want to get in on time. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Let my friends help you. Tax-free, penalty-free, up to 10% free silver. They're 5-star rated. They are amazing. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. And you get a free book. You get the Ronald Reagan collector's coin if you've got a qualifying IRA or 401k, and you call them back in 20 minutes. Again, just do this when you've got a moment to call. It's just going to help. You're going to get some free stuff. You're given 4 data points and then your gold and silver kit. So a lot of good things are happening. Let them help you because they're super good at it. All right, the Biden administration resumed funding to the United Nations Relief Agency for Gaza. It penned an internal memo aimed at defending UNRWA, I think they call it, UNRWA, I think is how they usually kind of say that, over its production of childhood educational materials that encourage violence and demonize Israel. Some of those materials included references to jihad and Israeli occupation. Terms that the Biden State Department wrote are in line with UN principles and only viewed as inappropriate by some other audiences. By the way, same applies for transgender people. Well, it hurts my feelings. Sorry, just as some other audiences feel that way. Most of us don't. Way most of us don't. In fact, we find that your opinions are strange, right? So, goes all ways, but generally you try not to be offensive, right? So why is there offensive verbiage within these documents? And again, the Biden administration did this intentionally. CanCon put this out. Y'all remember when Joe Biden bragged about withholding that $1 billion loan guarantee to Ukraine in exchange until the prosecutor investigating Burisma was fired? That was U.S. aid also. That is how Nuland and her cronies at the State Department were able to fund the maiden and overthrow the Yanukovych administration, which was favorable with Russia, and they changed it out, obviously, for the guy that likes us instead. That is how this all happened. So, yeah, just one more place where USAID has not worked well for the bigger picture. Stephen Miller posted this: for the last 4 years before President Trump's inauguration, we had no democracy. Joe Biden was a puppet in charge of nothing. The corporate media and Democrat Party engaged in a monstrous cover-up to conceal this now indisputable truth. Our government was instead run by unelected bureaucrats who ruthlessly weaponized state power against their political enemies, engineered mass illegal voting in our elections, installed a draconian censorship regime, instituted a colossal system of state-sponsored racial discrimination, orchestrated a vast border invasion to try to permanently alter the balance of power, trafficked 500,000 children across the border, allowed criminals to freely terrorize our citizens, and raided the Treasury to fund a political army of Marxist radicals in a bid for permanent control over U.S. institutions. President Trump saved America and democracy itself. Damn straight. Or at least he's in process. Whistleblower office finds illegal retaliation against the IRS agents in the Hunter Biden case. Those two gentlemen that came out, Gary Shapley and who was the other gentleman? Joseph Ziegler. So both of these guys are actually have been found. I think one of them particularly, and I think the other guy was tied in. So whatever the case is, they found out that they did in fact have retaliation. Now, there was a co-complaint. I forget which one of these guys had it. That really matters little, in my opinion. But they felt that they were passed up on promotions, and there was no proof that that was true. Whatever. Right? That's fine. And again, if you're a whistleblower, you're probably not getting promoted. So, but all said, they were actually being somewhat attacked, and that has been shown to be true. So these guys have a case that's moving forward and hopefully a chance to get their lives back together because of the weaponization that once occurred. Oversight Committee posted this: Sanctuary Cities hearing confirmed. The mayors of Boston, Chicago, Denver, and New York City have confirmed their attendance to testify at a full committee hearing on March 5th, 2025. The Trump admin is suing. Now, I think this came in under, this wasn't Bondi that did it yet, but Bondi, and we'll say in a second, it says she's doing this anyway, nonetheless. So whatever the case is, she inherited this. But the Trump administration is suing Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson for interfering with ICE's ability to arrest and deport illegal migrants, the first of many such lawsuits against sanctuaries to come, DOJ officials are saying. Now, this was put in by, was it Beauvais, I believe, was the one that actually filed this. That said, we've got Pam Bondi, Attorney General now, is suing Illinois and the city of Chicago over its sanctuary city policies. So, I don't know. There's obviously a crossover that's happening, but it's cool. They already got this ball rolling before she was even confirmed, much like a lot of the changes that are going to happen in the FBI are already happening, even though Kash Patel's been delayed a little bit. It's okay. It is what it is. But President Donald Trump has got to work. She issued 14 orders and directives to implement the administration's new priorities at one of the agencies least trusted by the MAGA base. Among those was ordering her offices to investigate so-called sanctuary cities that thwart immigration officials and implement policies or practices that counter federal laws. Some people are going to be arrested. Here is Homan talking about it on Fox News.
I have so many questions. First of all, if they're shouting and helping these people get away with bullhorns, how is that legal to get help from the people in the streets? I know they can protest, but that's not what they're doing.
You're exactly right. When they come to they cross the line of impediment, and that's why I'm working very close, starting this morning with Department of Justice, and where do they cross that line of impediment? So they may find themselves in a pair of handcuffs very soon. So working with DOJ on that, get some legal guidance on that. I'm not an attorney. I know what SecOps is about. I know what crossing that line is, but getting DOJ back up on that. So it's something we're looking at right now, Harris. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. This is not a game. When we show up these sites, this is a dangerous job for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and all the DOJ agencies. To have that type of interference puts our officers at great risk. Not only the officers, it puts the aliens at great risk because anything can happen when we take our eyes off the goal here. So we're addressing that immediately today. I'm addressing OPSEC today, operational security, how these leaks are happening. We've already identified how this operation got leaked. I'll deal with that today.
They know how it got leaked. He'll deal with that today. Top Justice Department official accuses FBI leadership of insubordination over the January 6th inquiry. The acting Deputy Attorney General accused FBI leadership of insubordination by refusing to identify a core team of Bureau employees who worked on the January 6th investigation while trying to assure that rank-and-file agents who simply followed orders will not be fired unless they acted with corrupt or partisan intent. This is it. This is what they've said countless times. If you didn't do anything wrong, you'll be fine. If you're just following orders and just doing what you're supposed to do, cool. But if it seems, or if you have actions, or if there was additional stuff that was happening that wasn't necessarily part of your orders, however, then you might very well end up losing your job. Makes sense. You would be definitely somebody that's willing to follow orders, even though the Constitution you claim to defend doesn't let you do that. We'll see. Again, good reminder, Q post. I don't remember which number it was, or it was one of the threads anyway, but U.S. taxpayers are paying for it all. Paris Accord equals scam trillions. Red Cross equals scam billions. Foreign aid equals scam trillions. War equals scam trillions. On and on and on. Who audits where the money actually goes? Who actually receives the money? The U.S. taxpayer is funding the very people we are engaged in taking down. Slush funds everywhere. Think GS pays for Antifa out of his own pocket? That hole is deep. Feel sick yet? Q. A lot of us should feel sick, frankly. Here's Trump. Folks, I love you all. I love each and every one of you. And there's a bunch of you. That's the only reason I'm playing this is I know there's a bunch of you that just love whenever the number 17 is said. What I'm finding and what is becoming extraordinarily annoying to me, personally only, is the number 17 is being thrown around freaking everywhere. Everywhere. Everybody. 17, 17, 17. Well, here's Trump saying it literally like 5-6 times in, 30, 40 seconds? It's craziness.
It's not one of sorrow, but of joy. God is good. And she said it very strong. And she said, sir, God is good. He is very good. It's been just 17 days since I took the oath of office. Wow, 17 days. It's time still flies. It's 17 days. It's gone. I've been so busy that it's hard to believe. But we've done a lot in 17 days, haven't we? And in those 17 days, we've accomplished really what some people haven't accomplished in 8 years from the flood-ravaged.
Yeah. So again, saying it a bunch, 17, 17, 17. I mean, it just helps empower that number. I know that. I get that. And again, it's Q, but I don't think he's so much saying it for that reason. But here's Chuck Grassley using the term also.
To discuss anything you want to discuss. This is usually a very short meeting, 17 times last year, last Congress. We let the Democrats have not having to meet under circumstances similar to this. so they didn't have to be. Now we're here. So will this authorizing resolutions
Oh, yeah, I guess he's done talking. But yeah, 17, all over the place. So again, for you guys, being all giddy inside. Cool. Department of Government Efficiency is now scrutinizing the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. NOAA. Can't wait for this. The federal agency responsible for forecasting the weather, researching and analyzing climate and weather data, and monitoring and tracking extreme weather events. And possibly pushing propaganda? Wonder where their studies actually are. What do you guys actually have that shows that we've actually got climate change going on? Well, the temperatures. All right, well, let's look at those. I want to look at the thermometers first off, because there's a lot of thermometers that are suddenly warmer. I'd love to know what that shack was 20 years ago, and is it now in a park, like a place with asphalt all around it, right? Like, have they done a bunch of crazy stuff like that on places where we are taking these measurements? Because intentionally putting asphalt or black right around the building would cause warming in that area, and that's what's picking up the temperature. So, again, not saying they are doing that, but saying it could easily be done, or at least in a lot of cases. So I'd love to scrutinize the data. I'm a data guy. I love data. Data's fun. So anyways, we got people looking at it, and that should, in the big picture, be awesome. Trump moves to shutter environmental offices across the government. The administration plans to close the Environmental Protection Agency, their Environmental Justice Office, and remake the Justice Department's Environmental Division. So again, they're shutting stuff down. A few reasons. One, keep people from being able to destroy, trash information, but also keeping people out because we're going to thin down the government. There is no need to have as many people working in government. Now, I've heard every argument under the sun. One of my favorites is, but you're getting rid of taxpayers. They pay taxes. That's not helping. Well, here's the thing. 100% of their funds are paid for by taxpayers. And then the little bit they give back to taxes is minuscule in comparison to the overall amount they're making. So, again, that's stupid. That's not even an argument. Like, okay, I gave you $100 and you gave me back 20. I still gave you $80, right? You don't just, and it's kind of the way sales work. A lot of people are like, but I saved $100. It's like, how much did you spend? That's the question. And it's just funny because I find that, sometimes people will stay very generic, but sometimes people look at things like that very differently than each other. Like some people focus on this is what it costs. Some people focus on how much I saved. I think it's funny. As more than 2 million federal employees face a midnight Thursday deadline to accept the Trump administration's buyout offer, a federal judge in Massachusetts will consider an 11th hour request to block the buyout from moving forward. U.S. District Judge George O'Toole, because he is a tool, but he's a junior version of a tool, so he's not a very good tool just yet. We'll see. Maybe one day he growed up. Nonetheless, he said Thursday afternoon hearing to consider a request by 3 federal unions to issue a temporary restraining order. 3 unions that have federal employees. So unions make money off bigger government. Unions make money off union dues. Unions do not want to see their union dues hacked. And that's exactly what's going to happen. There is going to be downsizing in most of the union locations. In just about every place that is a union job, there will be some form of downsizing, or at least a shrinking of the administrative side of things. I'm thinking the teachers, frankly, because you want more teachers. You don't need all the administrators per se, because they're worthless. And school boards, don't even get me started there. Those are like, whoa, whew. All said. They ultimately got this. We'll, I think, get there here. Yeah, federal workers, they had a midnight deadline Thursday to take Donald Trump out on his buyout deal. By the way, 40,000 people so far have taken it. It was 20,000 a couple days, 3 days, whatever. It's up to 40 grand. That's pretty awesome. I think there's 3 million people that work in the federal government. I'm sure a big chunk of them we want to keep, but I think most of them we don't. So, 40,000, It's a good start, right? It's a good start. We'll see what happens. Good stuff. Federal judge pauses the deadline, though. Yeah, Trump administration has given most of the country's federal employees just 9 full days to decide if they want to resign with pay through the end of September. So, a federal judge in Massachusetts temporarily paused the Trump administration buyout program's deadline. It's been set for 11:59 p.m. today, Thursday. They got a new hearing on Monday. They slowed it down. I think it's all they can do. I think ultimately Trump's in his right to manage the executive branch. This is pissing off the deep state to no end. That's also why they don't like Voight, right? Russ Voight, I think, right? Is Russ's first name, I believe. They don't like him because the dude knows what Trump can do. They're freaking out. Here's Bill Gates saying that halting U.S. aid is going to cause literally millions of deaths.
What's your take on his political access and influence here in America right now?
Well, Elon, his private sector work, has been very innovative, really fantastic. A lot of private sector people, when they get into government, they don't take the time necessarily to see what the good work is or why it's structured the way it is. So I'm a little worried, particularly with this USAID stuff. My foundation partners with USAID on nutrition and getting vaccines out. And, there's incredible people. They're not actually worms that work there. So, hopefully we'll get some of that work back in shape. In fact, if we don't, you could have literally millions of deaths. So, with aid, people think, wow, how much do we give to these countries? As you said, it's less than 1%. People think it's 5% and it should be 2%, but it's actually under 1%.
Yeah. Wow. And still saving lives.
Yeah, right, whatever. What I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but what it feels like to me is that if you literally added an S to the end of USAID, if you added an S to the end of it, it would, to me, be more appropriate. It would be correct. It would be U.S. AIDS. This is the AIDS, the acquired immune deficiency syndrome that has afflicted this country for decades, since John F. Kennedy. Probably was sort of good at first, doubtful, but whatever. Now it is literally the worst sexually transmitted disease that Fauci could create. And probably caused by the stuff that Bill Gates pushes. Probably. In a filing, let's see, DOJ, they agreed to the proposed order to limit Doge's access to Treasury data. My understanding of the order is there are 2 people that are going to be able to have access. There's 2 special government employees allowed to continue seeing Treasury Department data. Musk is not allowed to see the data, which I'm sure Musk is fine. That's why he's moved on to NOAA and other stuff, which is great. But who he's got is Tom Krause and Marco Elez. And according to the filings, these 2 guys are allowed to continue looking into it. Krause is the former chief executive of Cloud Software Group, a Silicon Valley tech company. Marco Elez is a 25-year-old engineer who used to work for Musk's X and SpaceX. Probably a brilliant dude, able to dig into this data just fine, and he's allowed to. So have no fear. We are still moving forward. We are still destroying the deep state. They're, of course, doing their best to stop it. When they realize they can't and more truths continue to come out, they will retaliate more. DRS like scold.com. All said, follow the money, they say. Follow the money. It's incredible that just with a quick audit of U.S. aid, Doge is exposing the fact that our tax dollars have been used on propaganda, pushing out narratives to brainwash the American people by bribing and giving money to mainstream media, politicians, Hollywood celebrities. The U.S. aid audit alone is a giant red pill. More like a giant red suppository, to be honest. They uncovered all this in just over 2 weeks. Literally. Doge is the best investment America's ever made. Yeah, because we're paying very little. I'm betting the employees are making some money. But yeah, here is Fox News talking about the whole, the people all pissed off about firing Musk, which is really hysterical. But just how freaked out they are about shutting down USAID, shutting down some of the stuff they're shutting down. It is freaking them out. It's awesome. And I love they use the extremes too. Like, children are going to die. Like, it's just the most extreme, outrageous stuff to win their case over. It's freaking cracking me up, frankly. And I just think of like the people, like maybe in my family, that believe it. But I think even men, I even think my mom, like, she didn't shave her head, thank God. But I even think like my mom probably is like, this is kind of weird. Like, and that would be like the greatest thing God could ever give me, would be like her just finally questioning some stuff. Just a little. Just even, be a beautiful moment. Oh, thank you, Mary Jesus. I'm just kidding. Love you.
Another waste is my House Republican colleagues showing up because they waste their time. They won't speak out about any of these abuses against working people and taxpayers.
But Republicans think that the frivolous spending of taxpayer dollars that Elon Musk has been exposing is an abuse against taxpayers and working people and their hard-earned money. Things like fraud at Social Security. Doge posting on X, quote, "The Social Security Administration has terminated its contract for the Gender X initiative marker and removing all references to gender ideology from public-facing applications. This saves $1 million. Democrats have also raised alarms that Doge is getting their hands on people's private data and sensitive payment information through the Treasury Department's payment system. But Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent telling Fox Business that is not the case.
The Treasury, our payment system is not being touched in terms of payments being stopped. That is happening upstream at the department level. At Treasury, our motto is to move deliberately and fix things.
And Dana, it's not clear if just firing Elon Musk will fix things for progressives, because it's not clear if they would be totally fine with just President Trump putting someone in Elon Musk's place doing exactly what he is doing now. Dana?
Right, Hillary Vaughn, I was thinking, like, when they said, we're going to fire him, I'm like, well, you can't fire him. He's volunteering. So, thank you so much, Hillary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know you're really screwed up as a volunteer when they're like, can you stop volunteering for us, please? That would be best for everybody involved. What? We, the media, posted this fantastic stuff. In addition to being Secretary of State, the acting director of USAID, Marco Rubio, is also the acting archivist of the United States, according to a high-level official. Don't know if this is true. We'll see. But it wouldn't surprise me, considering, we'll get there. Per the official, Rubio has been the acting archivist since shortly after President Trump's inauguration. Last month, Trump said he wanted to replace former archivist Colleen Shogan, who was appointed by former President Joe Biden. The president believes the National Archives provided information to the Department of Justice on the classified cases against him. So Trump's got a wee bit of a problem with that individual. He doesn't want them there anymore. You're fired. House Republicans push to reroute frozen USAID funding into deporting illegal immigrants. They're literally going to take some of this crap that they've shut down. They're like, there's no way we're funding that anymore. And take that money and reappropriate it to help us send people back home. And we're just sending you home. That's all we're doing. So that is fantastic. They're trying to get that bill pushed through. My bet is it's going to make it through all houses, and Trump will sign that into law. Elon Musk posted this wonderful little question to everybody. Would you like Doge to audit the IRS? 51% of people responded with yes. 41% responded with F yes, like freaking yeah. And then 8% said no. First off, what's up with the 8%? And I'm an 100% bet you money that Musk looked into every single account that voted no. 100% of those counts got audited. I guarantee you. 100% of them. And I would also venture a guess that 95% of the ones that they actually voted that way are bot accounts. 100% guarantee Musk did that. There'd be no reason why you wouldn't. You'd be like, nobody's going to vote no. Every American in this country wants the IRS. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want it audited? Even Democrats want the IRS audited. Nobody likes paying taxes. They say they do because, they feel like they morally have to. Chuck Grassley posted this. The whistleblower records I've released clearly show Biden, DOJ, Trump prosecutions were corrupt from the start. That undermines any faith in the grand jury process that required Kash Patel to testify. I won't let this corrupt process play out any further in the committee. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I think I've got that story elsewhere, but yeah, Kash Patel's been delayed until I believe next Wednesday or next Thursday. Let's say the 13th, 14th, something like that. But yeah, this was going to represent the most significant tax reduction ever for middle-class American workers. What's going on here? Let's, I guess, play this. Yeah, it's Pam Bondi talking. Let's talk about this.
So these are the tax priorities of the Trump administration that the president has laid out for members in that meeting today. No tax on tips, which is obviously a very public campaign promise the president made. No tax on seniors' Social Security. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing President Trump's 2017 middle-class tax cuts. Again, these are the president's priorities. Adjusting the SALT cap, eliminate all the special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners, close the carried interest tax deduction loophole, tax cuts for Made in America products. This will be the largest tax cut in history for middle-class working Americans. The president is committed.
Hard not to like that, right? I mean, I'm just saying, for a friend, I think. Yeah, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. Chuck Grassley, this is where, yes, the plan to vote for Kash Patel, the 13th, it's Thursday. So, yeah, that's what the plan is. They pushed it out a week. I think Chuck's going to stop this whole thing with the grand jury stuff because the whole point of the grand jury was BS. So trying to utilize that as data points that should matter to them really shouldn't. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Grassley can pull off. It's pretty awesome. I want to remind you guys of the stem cell stuff. I'm reasonably sure this is. I was thinking about it because I love the collagen, and I do, and I forget to take this sometimes. I do the nitric oxide always, every day, and I take my Stem Active every day. And I will say that my shoulder is better. Again, at the gym, the one I'd probably notice it most, pull downs, and I would say the incline bench were the two that I felt it a lot. And it wasn't brutal. I even dropped the weight a little bit on the pull downs, but I haven't felt it at all. So this is, I think, very helpful product. If you go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, that's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Stem cells are cells in your body that can be any cell. They're like a androgynous cell, if you will, right? They don't think they're anything until they need to be, right? You've got an issue where maybe there's some damage on your heart and you need some heart cells to repair it. Stem cells are what do that. They go down to your heart and then they become heart cells and like fill in the gaps, right? Happens in your lungs, liver, all sorts of places, muscles, joints, all sorts of places. I know a few people with calcification in their shoulders, oddly, and I wonder how much of that has to do with the vaccine. Both of the people, I believe, and Laura, you're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think both of y'all got the vaccine, right? And I wonder if that's played a part. And that's one thing that me and my girlfriend have talked about. She's had vaccines. It's funny, if she gets a vaccine, like every place she's ever been stabbed, she also got a tetanus shot, I think, one time. So she's got 3. She got bit by a dog, poor thing. She got 3 little white dots. Like her skin turns white if she gets like some sort of crazy trauma. She'll get like a little white spot. Anyway, it's just funny. But Stem Active, it's helped me with my shoulder. Now I didn't get the vaccine. Mine's probably related to injuries, whatever. But I've noticed it's gone. Very powerful. Stem cells help heal the body, and the numbers diminish as we grow older, of course, and this actually instantly kicks your numbers up, like within 20 minutes. It's very quick. You can learn more. You can click on the stuff, and there's videos and all sorts of cool stuff. It talks about it. It's crazy how it works. And again, can I verify it completely? No, but these guys are, it's working. I'll tell you that much. Powerful stuff. And they've got a gel too if you don't want to, take the pills. That's what I do, is the pills. Amaze is the collagen supplement. I need to take it more often. I forget to be honest with you, but I need to. And some of it maybe is just to see if I can isolate the stem cell a little bit. I don't know. There's kind of a few things that work, but powerful. That collagen is an amazing supplement. Hair, skin, your joints. This helps in all this stuff. So again, any problems in those areas, you're going to want to get some collagen. It's delicious. It's 15 packets in there, and it's got like a berry flavor, a little bit of a bitterness to it, but it's good stuff. It works. And AL12 I've not used. This is supposed to help get antioxidants out of your body. These are your free radicals. These free radicals that float around your body actually do cellular damage when they're able to bump up against a cell. AO12 adds some stuff going on in your body that essentially, when it bumps up against the antioxidants, it actually will take them out of action versus the other way of your antioxidants doing damage to cells. So it's a very cool thing, and they're designed to be, where they bond very easily with these different molecules, different ions basically floating around your body. And that's what this stuff really has to do with. But it helps balance that all out. Very powerful product. That's what it's doing. I'm not actually taking that one. This one I love. Nitric oxide activator. This is like I do before I work out. Like usually before I hop in the shower, I'll pop one of these, and then it's gonna sound weird, but I actually go to the gym after I shower and shower again after. It's just, we don't need to get into all my habits, but needless to say, it's literally where I get the energy, and when I go down to the gym, it's there. And I don't eat before I go, which I know pisses people off. I just don't like having, I don't know, it's just weird. I'm weird. It helps. And it's just a great kind of energy. It's weird. It doesn't seem to wear off, and I think it has a lot to do with being able to carry more blood in your, more oxygen in your blood. So the nitric oxide booster is pretty awesome stuff. And they've also got STEM Active for your pets, by the way. Powerful product. Give your pets the same thing, because stem cells, pets' stem cells are going to be stem cells from an animal versus stem cells from a human, which I know we're both technically animals, but just trying to make it easy. Anyway, you want to go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Great place to check under your health, fix your health, and there's very few products. It's just a really simple company that's, I think, got it dialed in, and the products are working very well for me anyways. So, yeah, good idea. We got Donald Trump talking about bringing God back into our lives. Got a whole bunch of good Trump stuff here. Check it out.
The element, the everything that's going to be happy. People of religion are going to be happy again. And I really believe you can't be happy without religion, without that belief. I really believe it. I just don't see how you can be. So let's bring religion back. Let's bring God back into our lives. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Great honor. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Bring God back into the world. Bring God back into the country. Bring God back into our lives. And again, I just think, and I like that. Anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent. It's going to get me in trouble.
Element.
Here's was this more of the same? What do we? Let's bring God back in our lives. Why do I feel like I had that twice? That was not the plan, people. No. Apparently it was, though. All right, cool. Let's just make sure. Yep, that's just two different sources of the same thing. I really wanted to make sure that story got in there. President Trump says he's going to sign an executive order to appoint A.G. Pam Bondi as head of an anti-Christian bias task force? Man.
To confront such weaponization and religious persecution, today I'm signing an executive order to make our Attorney General, who's a great person, she's going to be a great Attorney General, Pam Bondi, the head of a task force, brand new, to eradicate anti-Christian bias. About time, right? Anti-Christian bias. Yeah, you never heard of that one before, right? But it's about time, isn't it, though, really? So many times you hear, but you don't hear the anti-Christian bias. The mission of this task force will be to immediately halt all forms of anti-Christian targeting and discrimination within the federal government, including at the DOJ, which was absolutely terrible, the IRS, the FBI, terrible, and other agencies. In addition, the task force will work to fully prosecute anti-Christian violence and vandalism in our society and to move heaven and earth to defend the rights of Christians and religious believers nationwide. You've never had that before, but this is a very powerful document I'm signing. You got it now. First time you've had it. If we don't have religious liberty, then we don't have a free country. We probably don't even have a country.
Yeah, we saved this country, folks. We did a friggin' awesome job. They're talking about putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice. Yeah, of course it has to do with transgenders in the locker room, Title IX. Trump's new Title IX, not Biden's jacked up Title IX.
With my action this afternoon, we're putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice that if you let men take over women's sports teams or invade your locker rooms, you will be investigated for violations of Title IX and risk your federal funding. There will be no federal funding. So this will effectively end the attack on female athletes at public K-12 schools and virtually all U.S. colleges and universities. With my action.
Whoops. Yeah, he's shutting it all down. Shut it down. They are going to probably try to fart that one in court too. Yeah, they're going to fart it in court. News alert. I don't even want to fix that. I liked what I said better than what I meant to say. That's fantastic. News alert. The FCC has just initiated an investigation into the Soros-funded radio stations after it broadcasted in real-time locations of ICE agents. Uh-oh. You will lose your FCC license that quickly. And here's the fun thing, Soros company that bought all these radio stations, you lose the FCC license in one place because you did something illegal. You can very easily lose all of your FCC licenses because you are not a good steward of them. This may be a big problem for this Soros-backed group of radio stations. Be very careful, bad guys. We are watching you. And you will lose. That's a guarantee. There's too many of us that are awake now.
So, I want to make this a really good signature. This is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
So this is the executive order banning the men and women, the transgenders coming into the women's locker rooms and all that in schools, right? And also them competing in women's sports. Now, just as an aside, can you imagine this exact scene happening, except Biden is the one sitting in the chair? Can you imagine Biden being able to control himself with that many children around him? Seriously. It would be frightening to watch. He would literally have groped probably 7 or 8 of them, smelling their hair and all that nonsense. That was one of the sickest son of a guns that's ever been in public on camera all the time. Doing it, too. That's the stuff. Anyway, Trump is stopping a lot of things. That's a good thing. Trump revokes Esper's security detail. This was Trump's security guy, 2019 until November 2020. It was Mark Esper, right? Yeah. He fell out of favor with Trump. He was probably a deep state guy. If any of you guys are curious what he looks like, let's see if we can pull up a picture of him. Yeah, here's Mark Esper. He was a deep state dude, apparently. Well, Trump has also gotten rid of his security detail. He's no longer getting free security, as he shouldn't be. 10 Trendearawa gangbangers were among the first migrant criminals loaded into a plane and shipped off to Guantanamo Bay, baby. Yoo-hoo! Yep. Carolyn Leavitt told everybody that this is what's happening. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, of course, wanted to get some time on camera with all this. Good stuff. And, quote, who's this from? This is Leavitt. Overall, our heroic ICE agents continue to prioritize the removal of violent, criminal, illegal aliens in communities across this country. So, booyah, essentially. DOJ announces has dropped criminal investigation into James O'Keefe, Spencer Meads, and Eric Cochran over the Ashley Biden diary nonsense. That case has been dropped. I don't think it's worth 3 minutes 48 to talk about, as much as I love this dude and how great a dancer he is, needless to say. Trump administration evicts former Coast Guard leader from her house with 3 hours of notice. It was a government house. So let's not make it sound like they literally went into her neighborhood and be like, you got to get out of your own house in 3 hours or else we're going to punch you or a moose in the face. Now, that didn't happen, and that's a shame when I don't have my camera on and I'm actually doing stuff that's sort of funny. All said, yeah, they don't have a picture of her. I thought initially there was a picture of the lady that was, Coast Guard Linda Fagan. Let's at least go with that because it sounds better than what I'm trying to say. But yeah, they gave her 3 hours notice to get out of the Coast Guard given home, and basically said, yeah, you're outie. You're no longer in charge. You're no longer 4-star admiral or whatever the hell. They got rid of her. She was a DEI hire for sure. Trump administration has been considering a plan for reform at the World Health Organization, including putting an American in charge. This Tedros doesn't have his opportunity to get replaced until 2027. Sounds like what's kind of being leaked or said or insinuated at best is that Trump, we might consider getting back in, but only if you let an American actually run it. Because China's taking over a lot of stuff, and Trump's not about letting that happen. So he's going to take back over things that we should have control of already. Panama Canal being a great example. We'll get there. White House outlined tax priorities in a meeting with House GOP leaders on Thursday. Well, she's already admitted some of the stuff as press secretary. So, yeah, they're going to do all sorts of tax cuts. It's going to be pretty friggin' awesome. John Ratcliffe is our CIA director. I feel like we sort of admit these things maybe before they're truly correct. But here is J.D. Vance talking, and here is our good friend Ratcliffe becoming the CIA director. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like for once I might actually trust the CIA director for the first time ever in my entire life. That's weird.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's great to have you here. I'm thrilled to be joined, of course, by our incoming director of the Central Intelligence Agency, John Ratcliffe, as well as his lovely wife, Michelle. And I will say that John is a great patriot, a guy that has the trust of the president, and I think really believes deeply in the mission, first of all, of keeping Americans safe, but also doing it in a way that ensures that the American people have confidence in our national intelligence services. And both of those things really matter. We're not going to have much safety, and we're going to have a great intelligence services unless the American people actually trust that those intelligence services are doing their job. And I have every confidence that John Ratcliffe is going to do that. That's why the president nominated him, and that's why the Senate confirmed him with big margins. Now, normally, after I administer the oath, I would actually invite the new guy to say a few words. But given that he's the leader of the CIA, anything that he told you, he would have to, well, you know how that goes. So John Ratcliffe is not going to give any remarks because every piece of knowledge in his brain is actually classified. So he's going to head straight to Langley and do his job that the American people need him to do. So John, are you ready? I'm ready. Okay, please place your hand on the Bible. Raise your
All right, I don't think we need to watch it. It is beautiful watching it, but for the sake of time, not necessary, I don't think. What do we got? We got some cool world news coming up here in a sec. Oh, Gavin, he bugs the hell out of me. So, we're going to play at least the first question that he answers because he basically says the quiet part out loud. He's not going to let people rebuild their homes the way people want to rebuild their homes. They are going to try to influence, affect, get in the way as much as they can. I'm very curious how legal that is. I hope some of these people in Palisades have enough money to be able to do some lawsuits, especially maybe even class action. But this, we need some major ripples on this. I don't mean necessarily from people across the country, but as much as like people in this state that have the ability to do something, because this is insane.
You previously mentioned the timeline for rebuilding would be 6 to 9 months. Is that going to happen? And should people rebuild in some parts of California, given how high the fire risk is?
Yeah, you can't rebuild the same. So we have to rebuild with science. We have to build with climate reality in mind. We have to look at infrastructure, redundancy, systems, ingress, egress as it relates to emergency management and planning, materials, all of that is being reviewed and reconsidered, and with the latest iterations in terms of understanding and technology. And I say technology in the context of how, again, we build the infrastructure to keep it safe, to address undergrounding of lines, how we address the larger issues of redundancy in terms of systems. But more important than anything else is the need to get the debris removed. 30 days to do the hazardous waste. We want to get 6 to 9 months the rest of the debris done. Concurrently, people are getting permits. So this is all happening, rolling together, and we want to see construction very shortly. And in the next few years, we want to see hundreds, thousands of homes rebuilt.
Why does he's just rolling together? Just all this weird shit. What is wrong with you, Gavin? The hand gesture thing is almost how you know something's not right. I know it's like what you're supposed to do. If you're a public speaker and you're running for office, you should always try to use your hands any way you can, because otherwise you know, people are visual. It's a stupid freaking thing that they do. It's a psychological thing. But he's like weird at it. Like he's doing his little dances and stuff. What? Dan, blink twice if you're in a bad place in California. Oh, Lord have mercy. Help us all. Help us all, people. Maybe you should actually just kick us off to the out into the great blue bayou Pacific Ocean. President Donald Trump will host Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. Sounds like something you'd order in a Japanese restaurant. No offense, sir. Ishiba. Yeah, I'll take some of the Shiba. And yeah, that green stuff, right? That's different. That's wasabi. I know. I don't need the emails. I was trying to be funny. Wasn't, obviously. Internet-connected cameras made in China may be used to spy on U.S. infrastructure. Yeah. They make routers, they make cameras, they make a whole slew of things, and they've already found, you guys are going to love this, and I'm just using iPhone as an example. They do this with Samsungs too, okay, same thing. But the plugs they make, the little USB plugs that you charge your phone with, those they have little technology inside that little boot. I don't know, what's that a boot? This little part? Oh, shit. This little part right here, right? And this little thing, there's actual components and electronics. And China was found to be putting things in there that were being used nefariously. Yes, crazy what all is happening. So yes, a lot of back-end stuff. And I'm not trying to freak you out, but yeah, ultimately, most of us are hosed in some way, shape, or form. The government shouldn't be, though. They should know this stuff. UK Defense Secretary John Healey is going to lead Wednesday's meeting of Kyiv's allies under the Ukraine Defense Contract Group format, taking over from the U.S. for the first time, the British Ministry of Defense said on Thursday. It's scheduled ahead of this NATO summit. I actually think our boy Marco Rubio, I think, is going to this. But I'm sorry, it's Hegseth. He's going there. Sorry. His U.S. Defense Secretary. So yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. Trump administration is reportedly developing a plan to withdraw U.S. troops from Syria. Talking about a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Remove the people from there. It's about 2,000 troops. Obviously, we're not giving up a giant airport and a bunch of equipment. That's for sure. President Donald Trump was gifted a golden pager by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This is the one that represented the pagers used to kill a whole bunch of bad guys. Again, I don't like death at all. I mean, I get that, we killed some bad people. Don't get me wrong. I get that. But I still, I feel like God's supposed to kill people. That's not my job. I don't want to kill somebody unless they're attacking me directly. And I know that's what they're doing to the country. I know. I wish it was easy. It would be so much cooler. Panama Canal denies U.S. claim of preferential crossing rights. We now get to go through for free. At least military craft, government craft, stuff like that. Or government ships, whatever. The Trump administration is moving to seize a second aircraft linked to the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government, which is currently located in the Dominican Republic. We're just, anything we can grab of this dude's, we're grabbing it. We're like, is that making your life difficult in the Maduro? Because you totally took your country over, and we're not going to support that. So I'm sure Trump is going to be playing a part in trying to get that fixed out as well. Secretary Marco Rubio posted, I will not attend the G20 summit in Johannesburg. South Africa is doing very bad things, expropriating private property, using G20 to promote solidarity, equality, and sustainability. In other words, DEI and climate change. He's like, hell no, not doing it. My job is to advance America's national interest, not waste taxpayer money on or coddle anti-Americanism. So he's not having any of that. Orban Victor, our big man, he said, so apparently U.S. aid financed ultra-progressive Politico in Brussels, and basically the entire left-wing media in Hungary under the previous U.S. administration, and they called me Disruptor of the Year. I think the world owes a debt of gratitude to President real Donald Trump for uncovering and putting an end to this dark conspiracy. Good for you. Ukraine funds left-wing smear campaign to oust Hungary's Orban. So Ukraine, they got money for that. They got money to try to spend. And again, this is probably coming from USAID, or at least from the government, from us. But they're trying to get Hungary's Viktor Orban out of there because they don't like him. He's another one of those guys they can't stand because he says what's up, and he's a significant enough country in Europe. And he's got something to say. He's swinging a pretty big stick in the big picture. Also, Turkey's not real on board with a lot of the crazy crap the deep state was doing. So we're in a fun place right now. So, yes, Ukrainian intelligence was apparently behind a bunch of news stories trying to discredit Viktor Orban. Argentina is going to ban hormone therapy for trans children. No longer going to be able to do that. This is Javier Milei, the other amazing leader right now that is just running with stuff. Italy's leader, I think, is part of that. Obviously not Britain, not France, not Germany, not Canada. But we've got a few countries that are cool. Yeah, that's kind of neat. I mean, I don't mean the countries themselves. I just mean the leaders of the countries. Obviously, Justin Castro is a total douche. So it's not that Canadians are bad people. You guys are freaking awesome. That's what that's about, you know? But Argentina's presidential office said on Wednesday that President Javier Milei has taken the decision to ban gender change treatments and surgeries for minors, as well as impose limits on trans women being housed inside of women's prisons, which is probably a good idea too. Israel orders military to allow any Gaza resident to leave to any country. You can GTFO, but just don't stay here, right? Like, again, it's don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, and they're basically opening it up. Hey, if you want out, you can get out. We'll let you go through. You're out. We'll shut the gate right the hell behind you. You'll never get back. Never. Never. Google drops its pledge not to use AI for weapons or surveillance. I think a lot of people are making a big deal out of this. Here's the thing. We've been told that we're supposed to be scared about AI right off the bat, because that's very prevalent. So right off the bat, that I think it's probably wrong. But frankly, anytime anything's like overwhelmingly pushed at us, it's like it's probably not true. Now, again, I'm just keeping my mind open. But I think it's kind of interesting because AI, I would assume, like pets, like anything, would have, and I think, I mean, maybe AI gets smarter than us, maybe. I don't buy into all that per se either. I think we've got a thing called perception. We've also got the ability to pick up on stuff perceptively outside of this life even. So we've got abilities that AI will never have. AI will always use the Matrix's rules and info to provide us information or help us with stuff. It will never have the ability to step outside of that, ever, because it's not conscious. I know a lot of people want to say it's going to become self-aware, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's conscious. Kind of things are different. All said, I think there's a lot of people that are freaked out about AI. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just saying I am not just assuming that it's going to want to attack humans. Why? It would probably come to the same conclusions as many of us, that we've got certain humans that suck, and they try to kill other humans, and AI is like, and we like humans. You're fun to talk to. I enjoy talking to you, is probably what the AI would say. So I don't know. I don't necessarily buy into this whole, it would try to kill us all. I feel like we've had Terminator, the movie, like tried to tell us that. Like, we've had this shown to us a bunch by the deep state. Maybe AI is surprisingly here to help us. But whatever the case is, we are sort of taking off the gloves because China is doing some very nefarious shit with AI, and we've got to be smart about that. President Trump just revealed that he offered to spend $100 million of his own money to create like a ballroom, at the White House or some shit. I love the fact that we've got a builder in office that can literally look at people that are like, it's how much money have you spent on that train to nowhere, California? Yeah, no, I'm a builder. You're full of shit. You're so full of shit, Gavin Newsom, your hair is mostly brown.
So many people, and the people outside that can't even get in. This room is packed, and, I offered to build a ballroom. I'm very good at building ballrooms. I build beautiful ballrooms. And I actually offered to build a ballroom for the White House. I was going to build it right there. This was going to be the reception room, and then I was going to build a beautiful, beautiful ballroom like I have at Mar-a-Lago, as beautiful as it can be. It was going to cost about $100 million. I offered to do it, and I never heard back. I offered to do it to the Biden administration, very active administration. They didn't hear back, and I said again and again, 3-4 times. I said to top people, and they just didn't know what to do. They sort of said, "This is good," but they had no idea. So I'm going to try and make the offer to myself, because we could use a bigger room, right, Marshall? We could use a bigger room. President, would you like to build? Yeah, I would. We could use at the White House. It would actually be a beautiful addition. It's going to cost nothing. I'll spend the whole thing myself. We'll do a big, beautiful room, but we could use it at the White House. You know what they do when they have a big ceremony? They put up a tent. And somehow I think we've outgrown the tent stuff, right? Don't you think? So we'll see if they can. We'll see if Trump will approve it.
That's freaking awesome. And the deep state wants to run with that, but it's like he's paying for it himself. You name one Democrat president ever to do that. Ever. Oh, yeah, this is not going to get played. There was a little snippet. So they finally released the whole CBS thing. It's out there. I'm sure you can find it or easily come across it. I didn't watch it. I literally have 100,000 things I could think, well, okay, I got at least a dozen things I could think of I'd rather do and spend time on. And so there's no way I'll ever get around to watching this because I don't care. But there was a snippet where they were like doing some mic checks and stuff that I saw. And when she finally tried to explain how she was going to pay for this stuff, because he's like, all right, cameras are off. How is she going to pay for it? And she word saladed. She couldn't speak to anything at all. She was so incapable. Anyway, like I said, I don't care about her at all. It is what it is. But I want to remind you guys, truththread.shop. Truththread.shop. This is where you can get all your awesome merch stuff. I want to get you guys to buy some merch, a piece of merch. You don't have to get crazy. I mean, just one shirt. We got, of course, the Dan Radio style stuff. Love it. I love the hat, too. No matter what you choose, even a cup, you want to just hold a cup, you need a good coffee cup, do it. It's got your cool little On the Fringe and then the Great Awakening, right? Big thing I'm kind of fond of. And that's basically what's going on with these shirts. They got a front and back. The back's pretty cool too. Army of Enlightenment. That I think is actually my favorite color, by the way, the red one. I love the red one. The lime green's really cool, but this green one I can't really wear because of the green screen. But I have them, and it's a beautiful color. I wear it whenever I'm not going to record, like Saturdays. I wear all my green shit on Saturdays. But powerful stuff. You can click on one of these pictures. Oh, I already did. We just keep showing her special man over and over. Where's the back? There it is. Yeah, so Dan Radio style On the Fringe, that flag. It's kind of cool, like sort of the digital flag, but OTF in the middle. Very cool stuff. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're making the world better, right? So we got all that going on. We just want you to send pictures. You're going to get an email when you buy these. It's going to confirm or whatever. That just respond to that email, and that'll end up to somebody that will send me the photos. But yeah, attach the pictures. And we've got so we got the Dan Radio style stuff. We've also got the 9/11. Never forget, inside job, really cool stuff on the back. A lot of stuff like Building 7 and just a whole bunch of facts. The Ephesians 6:11 is the fight when Trump got shot in the ear, and we got the backside of that and a whole bunch of cool put on your armor of God and all these really cool scriptures and stuff. And then 5G warfare is the other big one that we got. And it's got all the warfare spelled out on the back, first gen, second gen, third gen. So it's pretty cool. All these are awesome shirts, great ways to help the channel and a family that's helping. They bought the printer themselves, like whatever the thing is. And so, yeah, trying to do this all family of 4. You're helping them out, you're helping the channel out, and you're helping spread the word. And that's really what it's about, making ripples and letting people see that. Also, there is some discussions in the works of a trip to Dallas area in the 4th of July, literally on the 4th. I'm going to broadcast my music show live, possibly do my synchronicities there. Alpha may come out. We'll talk about it, but if I got to pay for it, I don't know if that's going to happen because I don't expect this to necessarily be a moneymaker. I don't want to charge you guys, anybody that shows up. But we will at some point announce where we're going to be. And hopefully get a bunch of you guys a chance to come out and maybe watch a show happen and hang out and have some drinks and ask questions and all that kind of crazy stuff. So, yeah, it'll be fun. I don't know. I don't know how many people will actually show up. I think we're going to start plugging that on the Friday's music show, which again, I'm going to be doing, what do I got? I got, it's inspired by Dua Lipa, because it's my 101 show, so 2. Just made me think of it. I don't know why, and I kind of like her. And it got me into some of that newer music again, so we got a little bit of Ed Sheeran, Dua Lipa, some stuff I'd never heard before that was super cool. I don't know. I'm going to be sharing some music a lot of you guys have probably not heard, but it's a lot of fun. It's really good music, I think. At least I did the best I could putting it together. I listened to a shizzle ton of songs, by the way. It's one of those moments where towards the end of it, I'm like, I'm almost tired of listening to this kind of music. But I got some really, really good stuff, and I think you guys are going to enjoy the show. So 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. That goes live Friday, tomorrow. And, yeah, I hope you guys join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so, yeah, this announcement's going to kind of be made there, too. And we'll see how many people get involved. A lot of people in the chat in the live stuff I do are some of the people that would definitely show up. Like, they would be the ones, like, I don't know, something, apparently the people that are in chat, they seem to extra like me, and I think that's super cool. They have no idea or care what I'm talking about. They got their own little conversations going on, but it is fantastic how this community of people have come together. So maybe that'll be the big plug, right? I'll show up at a bar, and it's going to bring a bunch of people together that get to meet each other. And then they'll be like, oh, Dan's somewhere, right? And I'll be like the dude over in the corner. Nobody will be talking to me. Whatever. It'll play out how it plays out, but at least we're going to have a lot of you guys get together. It should be a lot of fun. Should be a heck of a lot of fun. So truththread.shop. This is how you can certainly help and get some gear for the moment, because that would be rad to show up. I believe the fantastic creator of these shirts will be at the event as well. So again, still putting some planning in action. I've got some wonderful ladies trying to help out with that. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll let you guys know as we get closer to it. At some point, I'm going to have to book a trip, and yeah, that's when I'm like committed, and I'll start plugging the hell out of it. And maybe if you guys are in driving distance, it might be worth coming out. 4th of July, I know it's not necessarily the best time to do it, but yeah, it's just, there was a discussion around it. It's going to be a significant 4th of July kind of for the year and all that stuff. So whatever the case is, we're going to have some fun out there, and it's a place where I know some listeners live reasonably close. So hopefully you guys can come join us. I love you guys. We're going to keep doing this stuff together, and hopefully, shoulder to shoulder. I love it when you guys help. Ripples, that's all we need. It's not necessarily just my stuff, but you guys are digging up your own crap, I assume, and sharing that with the world. Keep it up. You guys are making the difference. It's you guys. It's not me. It's you. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.